Chimps.
You're seeing that a lot right now in the world with misery, and you're seeing depression rates are fucking skyrocketing, and suicide, unfortunately, is skyrocketing. And I think it's that exact thing. I think it's we're dancing around in the hot pot. We're not looking at the pot, and we're just like, we're cooking. And on the other side of it, I see people also now, I feel like there's like a awakening in a sense where people are starting to ask more deeper questions on what's going on, how they're feeling and stuff.
Yeah, obviously, I think suffering is a great catalyst for that.
Yes.
For asking that question. Because at one point you realize, I want to come out of that. So at first you might try so many things. You might try to be right.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. But eventually, if you're sincere and wanted to find some inner resolve or inner peace, then grace comes and does its thing. Even I think actually suffering is also grace in its way. I think there's a quote in the Bible that says like, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. I think something like that. Jesus said that.
Sounds familiar.
And whatever that means, for me, the last shall be first is the last in this world, in this 3D reality, are the ones that are suffering. They're and the first are the kings of this world. Everything is which is fine. It's an experience. No judgment here. But when you're at the bottom, you want to come out of there, and often it will result in someone leaning towards spirituality or leaning towards self-inquiry or leaning towards meditation, and they find their way first to the kingdom, to the own, because I think every human being is looking for that, whether it's through buying a Lamborghini, high speed, like highway, whatever, or whatever. I feel that every human being is looking for that sense of home, of wholeness, going back to wholeness. And most of us can't even sit quietly for a day without being bombarded by our own content. So I had a guy, we were having a ceremony, and I was sitting on the couch with a guy, and he's like, when this silence this becomes uncomfortable, like silence is very uncomfortable for people. And I said, I know what you mean, but the silence itself is not uncomfortable. It's what we bring in silence, because silence is pure peace. It's close. It's our own flavor, or before flavor, but like
it's like a vacuum or a canvas.
Exactly. It's our own. So our own self, like silence, space. But what is it that we can't be comfortable with in silence? That's what we call ourselves, right? So freedom and liberation is liberation from that, from our own self. Nothing to do with anything. So when you find that out, then you can actually heal that, embrace that, and have compassion for that, because there's a lot of judgment there, a lot of guilt, so to say, I want to kill my ego, no, that doesn't work at all. It creates pain and separation and judgments, but to actually embrace with a compassionate love, compassionate awareness, whatever that little Matthew needs to be hugged for, and so you embrace that, you hug that, and you hold that in your heart until it subsides, and then silence. So as long as humanity cannot sit in silence with themselves, whatever we change in the world as an effect, we haven't changed much. Right? To the way I feel and I view things.